In Starfield, there's a high chance you'll be able to drive your very own space rover. It's not being confirmed, but when you comb through the trailer like a maniac with nothing better to do like me, it's looking almost inevitable. For starters, take a look at this shot. This is your spaceship, and if you zoom in close to the entrance ramp, what can you see? Tire tracks. This highly suggests there'll be tired vehicles, otherwise what else could have made these marks? And just as an aside, if vehicles really track in different sorts of dirt and mud depending on the terrain, that is amazing. Back on topic though, and adding fuel to the fire of drivable land vehicles, we have this piece of official concept art. It shows a huge 6-wheeled vehicle. Now this is concept art, as I say, which doesn't necessarily mean this vehicle is in the game, but then again, Bethesda has chosen to show this piece of art to us. This isn't a leaked piece of art from the game or anything, which begs the question, why would they show off something that wouldn't even be in the game? And given the size of Starfield, a vehicle to help you cross the massive expanses of land that you'll find on planets makes sense. I can't imagine Bethesda would dump you in a vast open world without an ability to rapidly move yourself. Some have said that Bethesda games typically don't let you drive vehicles due to issues with loading in the landscape fast enough. That's why Fallout, for instance, has no cars, or why your horse in the Elder Scrolls series is only marginally faster than your running pace. But as a counter to that point, look at the view here. You can see miles to the horizon without any loading whatsoever. You can even see aliens that have spawned in even though you're barely close enough to make them out. So I really don't think having vehicles, from a technical perspective anyway, would be an impossible challenge for Bethesda in this game. But let's see the other side of the argument. Maybe Starfield won't have land vehicles. First and foremost, the diverse terrain is a huge issue for vehicles. How are you meant to drive a vehicle through this stuff? Having to accommodate land vehicles would massively restrict how the developers are able to build planets, and it would make them much less geographically interesting. Bethesda typically want you on foot, making your own stories and finding quests as you roam around, rather than watching the world zoom by from the cockpit of a vehicle. If they did want you crossing vast open spaces quickly, they would have put atmospheric flight in there, but as it stands, you cannot fly your spaceship above the planet's surface. This is confirmed, so this suggests there'll be no land vehicles either. Also, we already have a jetpack that's in there, and this is way more maneuverable and efficient than a lumbering old vehicle. Jetpacks allow for traversing any and all terrain relatively quickly and with total freedom, and you could easily upgrade it for more boost, more height and speed and things like that. The jetpack will kind of become your horse, and going back to that pic, there's something strange about it if you look closely. The humanoid characters are standing next to their vehicle rather than driving it. It looks like they've come to a huge chasm and can't get across, which is kind of fitting really. It's another subtle suggestion land vehicles really wouldn't make sense across most terrains. Alien planets, after all, tend not to have roads. But what about those tire tracks on the cargo ramp of your ship? Well, maybe these are from an uncrewed rover. Maybe you can send your rover out to gather materials while you go off on your quest, similar to how you can send probes out to mine planets in Mass Effect. So while these tracks do make it look like there are land vehicles in the game, it doesn't automatically mean you'll be able to drive them. And one more thing I've noticed, the shots of your ship here seem to indicate you'll be able to fast travel across the surface of a planet, making there no need to use land vehicles to get across them. Here's what I mean. In this first animation, the ship is clearly flying upwards towards space. But in the second animation, it's traveling parallel to the ground. I think this second animation is the fast travel screen for when you want to travel to other locations on the same planet. So yeah, while there is some solid evidence for drivable land vehicles in Starfield, I think the most we'll get is unmanned vehicles, if land vehicles are in there at all. So those were a few crazy details about Starfield that I think are going to make the wait that much harder. Very excited for this game, but how about you? Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then subscribe to the channel for more.